Coming up in this episode of the KickCast, we have a book that teaches kids about circuits, and it's actually fun. A fabric barbecue and an inventory management system so you never forget the eggs. So sit back and relax. It's time for the KickCast. Hey everybody, it is time for another episode of the KickCast, the podcast where we go out, find cool projects, and let you know if you should backtrack or sack them. I am one half of the show, Ktdata, but no. You guys come for the man, the machine himself, and the fedora master, the one and only Drew Tyler. How are you doing today, Drew?
I'm very good. Life is good. I am rocking like the life. I'm that good.
Yeah,
I'm that good. Yeah.
I'm not. I didn't want to mention this earlier, but I'm not gonna lie. Ever since you've gotten your new fedora, you seem to have a little bit more hop in your step, and you're already bubbly before, but like now you're like, I'm king of the world. Rocking my fedora.
You can't see it. Hold on. I got a haircut too. Oh, look at that. I even have it spiked a little bit today.
Ooh, fancy.
So those things combined to really make me, king of the world. Yeah. I'm on the front bow of a ship. I am struck out. Whoa!
And I love the princess sticker that's on your shirt. That is great. I just barely noticed that.
You see that?
That is amazing.
I got this tonight. It's a half of a mermaid Barbie. So she's a princess mermaid Barbie that I was bequeathed from the 3-year-old, and it's gonna stay.
So I honestly hope that when you retire, settle down, the kids are out of the house, and you start your memoirs. You title your book "Life of a Fedora," the story of Drew Tyler. Right there.
I like that. That's good. Life of a Fedora.
All right, guys.
We got a lot to do.
Yeah, we got a show to do. So before we jump into our projects tonight, of course, we have amazing news. We have news on there, and the first one gets me excited because one of the things that is very important about a Kickstarter project, and I think in most companies in general, is having good transparency. And you hear on the show often, Drew and I will say, hey, whatever you do, be transparent to your backers on there. And I think Kickstarter does a great job by being transparent about what happens to them. So as this is another question that I get a lot is, hey, what happens if somebody tries to launch a product that's copywritten or, somebody actually owns other rights? How does that handle? And I'm like, I think that is fairly rare on there. So about a week ago, Kickstarter actually posted up a transparency report for 2014.
This is so cool.
And what they did was they're like, okay, so this is the breakdown of how many legal related actions that we've had to take care of in the past year on there. So in terms of copyright claims, of course, our favorite, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act.
Oh yes, the sweet DMCA.
DMCA on there. That it is a mechanism that people can use if their content is being infringed. On there, they received 282 claims in 2014,
which is actually really a lot lower than I thought it would be. Like just for claims, I thought, wow, really, of all the projects out there, only 240 had claims against.
And then to put that into perspective, since you can actually file more than one DMCA claim to a project, really it was only 240 separate projects on there, which equates out to be about 0.3% of all projects on Kickstarter.
Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad at all.
So that is actually, I think that's a fairly low number on there. And then they even broke it down further because some companies will just stop there saying, this is how many we've gotten. But they even broke it down further saying out of those 282, they rejected 159 of those, or 56% of them. And then they took some action for 44% of them, of these claims on there. So, if you see that, most of the time they're like, those are baseless accusations, bug off on there, which is, it's a good sign, especially for creators who are afraid that somebody may try to shut their project down for some reason or another on there. And they only had 46 of those projects actually get hidden because of a copyright infringement. And I could tell you there's probably a couple of them. Like I think somebody wanted to port Mario 64 or something.
Right, something.
Like very obvious ones on there.
Sure.
So that was the DMCA's. So trademarks, those are a little bit different on there. And this is what actually surprised me because a name is everything. Branding is very important in projects, and I thought that might be actually fairly high because you're running out of names. I mean, we're at the point where our URLs are short vowels. So for trademark claims, they only received 28 trademark claims. 12 of them, they didn't do any action. 12 of them, they hid from public view, and only 4 of them did they go to the project creator and the person who actually put up the trademark claim and said, hey, you two guys should work things out on there. So on there. And then this is the one that you always hear from everybody else is usually government and law enforcement requests on there. In 2014, only 8 requests were submitted to Kickstarter, 6 of them being in the US and 2 of them being in Europe. Out of the 8, only 3 of them were legal subpoenas, and then they didn't even get any information for the other 5 on there. And then the kicker, so, the NSA, CIA stuff that you always hear about are usually national security letters or from what they call a FISA court, FISA court. On there, Kickstarter has received a big fat 0. None of those. So that is always a good sign that people are not hiding things in their projects.
Right.
On there. So I got to say big kudos to Kickstarter, and they're practicing what they preach by being transparent on everything right here. So that's our first bit of news. So our second bit of news, we hop on over to what I would say is Kickstarter's biggest competitor, which is Indiegogo. And it actually brings up another topic that we bring up often is, and this is for backers, is that when you back a project, you need to do your own due diligence to find out if you think these guys can actually deliver their product and get their projects through or not. So
that should be absolutely key, very first thing. And so
very key.
Indiegogo's got some stuff for that.
Yeah, because I tell people, treat it like you're investing into this company. So Indiegogo has actually introduced a new feature called Campaigner Profile Cards on there. And what that does is actually give you more information about the campaign team, each individual person, and actually links to verified accounts. So if they have a LinkedIn account, if they have a Facebook account, those guys have to do a back-end verification process, and you can link in. They want to promote being able to contact people directly, project creators directly, because that is actually something that I've discovered that Kickstarter does slightly a little bit better, and this actually brings it on to par, because I struggle finding contact information for people on theirs, and they built it right in. If you want to see it, it's going to be right under the video, and it will just say their name, and you can click on it, and then it'll pop up a new section that shows you all the team members, a little bit about the information, how to contact them, and their impact too, so you can see if they've backed project, if not on there. So I'm a big fan about this. Yeah,
it seems to make a good sense. It seems like a good idea to be able to help you with that due diligence that you should be doing anyway. So put it all right out there where you can get the information, find out who the team is, see that they're verified. This is great.
Yep. All right, and then before we kick off our projects, there are actually 2 I'd like to give quick mentions to, because actually I forgot to mention these guys on the last episode, and I apologize to you guys. There's a project that launched called KitLab, and it is essentially what you do is, Drew, I know you have 0 experience in this, but for homebrewers, homebrewing is a very big hobby that people are picking up on there. And what KitLab is essentially a website you can go to where different homebrewers will put their recipes up, and you can actually order all the supplies and everything for that, and they will deliver it and bring it to you. So what KitLab is doing is trying to get funds to put up their to get this website fully functional, finish off the coding, and help advertise and get this business off the ground. So if you guys are a home brewer, check out KitLab on Kickstarter. They have about 17 days to go, and a little bit long way. So any little bit helps on there. And our second quick mention, Drew. I'm gonna let you take this one.
Oh, I've got another quick mention that I'll share, and this one is from one of the teams that I've been working with my filmmaking class. I've got 5 teams. One's making a documentary, and 4 others are making feature films. There'd be 30, 40 minutes is what we're aiming for, and that's quite a bit to pull off in a 15-week semester. And several of the teams have put in their own funds to kind of get themselves off the ground and to get the props made and things like that. So this is one of the films called Nero. It's a sci-fi film. They've kind of taken upon themselves to try and recoup some of the costs. They bought some hardware, some props, and obviously they're putting in all kinds of time for the grade. But what they're looking for is to recoup some of the costs that they've had in this particular venture that I've set them forth on. So give it a look. This is Neuro. It'll be in the show notes. You'll be able to jump over. They've got about halfway to their goal, $214 out of 450, with another 2 weeks to go. We screen these at the end of the month, and I would love to see this project kick over the goal so that they could have some recouping. Out of all the teams, these guys have been hitting the deadlines most consistently. So I feel very good about their end project. Yeah, that's a quick mention, but they are on schedule and they are doing well, and they deserve your help. Support those college kids. They're eating ramen, for goodness sake.
Do it for the kids, guys. Do it for the kids, and
And there's like 4 other teams that could have jumped in and done this exact same. Like there are others who could have done this.
Just do it for the kids, and if it's successful, Drew may give them an A. If not, they may get a C+. I'm not saying that it may influence their grade or anything, but it's a good bullet point to put in on your final script.
Yeah, I thought about that. I thought about doing something hilarious where it'd be like, I had all these deadlines, and then really in fine print, what they never noticed was that I was grading totally on whether or not they could make me cry, make me feel some sort of emotion, like some arbitrary thing, and just be like, you win. No, no, these guys deserve. There's a lot of good talent in this class, so I hope to see it.
All right, so let's jump into our project, and this actually kind of relates a little bit back to you, Drew, because I know you're an educator, and
Sure.
And a parent too, an educator and a parent. And let me ask you, what is one of the hardest things to do with your kids when it comes to school is to actually,
homework,
sit down and learn, right?
Sit down and get the learning done. Like they'll get stuff in school, and then they come home and they've got to process it and apply it, and it's it's.
Let's see, how old are your kids right now?
Oldest is 8, and then I've got almost 6.
So does your 6-year-old and your 8-year-old have a sound basis on circuit theory yet?
No, one of them speaks half of Chinese, but no circuit theory. No.
All right, so our first project of the night is actually going to help solve that problem right there, and it's called Fun with Circuits. And it is essentially a toy that is aimed for 6 to 10-year-olds to learn about circuits. And this is when I get all nerdy and sciencey on there. So there's two pieces to it. So there's a storybook and then a magnetic connectors and blocks that they can put together. So as you read the story, each section, you start building different circuits and learning a little bit more about electronic circuits. So this is cool. And so you have these builder pieces, so they're all magnetically applied to each other, and you have things like a switch and a light and a propeller and stuff. So when you put them together, you can start seeing things come together and working on there, and it gets kids really excited about this. And I wish I had this growing up,
right?
On there. And their whole goal is to make it not over the top. We're not pulling out math equations or anything right off the block. It is to help them understand how a circuit actually works and understand the concepts behind them. I love it because they break it down. It's like, this also helps develop their reading skills because they're reading the stories, learning about what a circuit is. I mean, how many of you guys understand how a circuit works? They learn how to make them. They also learn troubleshooting because they got to figure out why their circuit's not working, and then it teaches them problem solving too because they're trying to figure out all of that. I'm a huge fan of this, and all of you guys probably know I am a huge science geek, and I like the story they found behind this because one of the creators was looking to get a electronic kit for her nephew, but she was looking and all of them were, you gotta either have a parent who really is well versed in all of this, or you gotta have or it's just like the book's just way over. It's not really accessible on there, so they decided to build their own kit on here. And I'm all for getting people excited into STEM stuff. So that's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics on there. When I was a kid, I always wanted to do that. Like I saw this giant Radio Shack kits and stuff. Yes. I always wanted one of those kits to put together.
I had a few of them.
Yeah, but how often did you play with them? Is my question.
I remember playing with them one Christmas break because I got they used to have names like the 201 science projects or 50 in 1, and that would be how big the board would be that would have all the little wires, and you'd get these tiny wires. And I still can't say that I learned much, but I knew how to read the book that would be like, connect number 59 to number 22, connect number 22 then to number 4, right? And you're doing these little wires. Use a blue wire. And I remember being able to make radios. I made sonars. I mean, just really random cool things, and made the hard ones and the easy ones. But I don't know that I learned anything in that whole process. It was more of, look, I can follow the instructions, but I still can't tell you what's resisting and ohming. So this is a fantastic idea that they've got this kind of fun with circuits book that's at that 6, 7, 8 year level.
Yeah, and I love it. And if you look at the book themselves, some of the the illustrations on there, I almost said animations. The illustrations on there, they're really well sound. So if you look at the cover page, you see that one side it has a story of the two girls trying to figure out what they're going, and then the other side actually has the circuit diagram that they can copy. So it's not just a jumble of wires on there. It helps them, saying they're like, okay, I need to put that yellow block there, I need to put that green block there, and all these blocks are labeled too, so you know what a switch is, you know what the lamp is, you know what everything is, and I think it's a great idea. This one is a straight back for me. I don't have any kids, but if I ever have kids, this is the stuff.
You'll pull out the book.
This is the stuff, because I love this aspect of it, because I know. When I was growing up, I loved all this stuff, but I knew most kids would probably get bored with it because it's just so straight-laced. But this, when you have a story, you're like, oh, what happens next? They actually have a blog, and they were putting up stories on there. And there was this one girl who actually, they were at a children's museum playtesting this, and then the girl was like, I'm not really interested, but the mom was like, oh, come on, try it. And after goading her to build her first circuit, so she agreed to build one circuit. After she built that first one, she was reading the story. Oh, I want to know what happens next. So she flips the page, starts reading, and starts building a second circuit. And by the end of it, she's like, can I take this home with me? This is amazing.
Nice. Nice.
So it's a back for me. So what is it? Backtrack or sack for you, Drew?
Back for me as well. I think I mean I love STEM as much as the next guy, but I like that there's still an artistic flavor to this, you know, because I always go for STEAM. A little bit of art mixed in there, but I like that they put this into a story and that they're combining it in this way that's deliverable to this younger age. So it's a back for me.
Perfect. All right. So as we go from the educational realm, we go, you know, unlike the weather outside, for some reason it snowed in Utah today in the middle of April.
Oh man, and it was quite a downpour for quite a while there. It was like full on.
Yeah, it was literally raining.
Mud,
yeah, because like I walked to my car, which was 2 steps away from my building. My jacket is actually covered in dirt right now, dried dirt, just from the rain on there. So, but summer is coming up, and everybody loves to, you know, go out and barbecue. Barbecuing is a big thing in summer. So, Drew, how about we kick off this next project that actually will help if you like barbecuing and being on the go?
Yeah, if you love barbecue and ghost places, this is the project for you. We found one on Indiegogo called the GoBQ, and it's a fabric-based barbecue that is going to be perfect for anybody that wants to keep barbecuing but not stuck to their backyard. This thing is kind of, I mean, if you think about it, anytime you grill, you are going to be stuck in your backyard because that's where your grill is, unless you throw that in a tailgate and you go to a tailgate party.
You got to lug all that all around.
Lug that around, right? So anytime that you've gone camping or just into the picnic, I hate using the grills that are the picnic, that you know, at the park, that are like, they're not real grills. You have to bring everything to set up, and then all it is really just like this metal, rusted metal nastiness.
Yeah, and do you trust the person who used it before if they...
No. Not at all. So this GoBQ is this revolutionary kind of lightweight fold-up fabric grill. Fits up in a backpack, stores in a drawer just fine. Look at this guy setting this thing up. He just carries it in. It's about 8 pounds, and all of the parts and pieces just fit together. Top, bottom. This is amazing to me.
Yeah,
he pulls it out.
He set it up in like 5 minutes. Not even 5 minutes. This is like 2 minutes, and he's done. Like, it's crazy quick.
Puts the charcoal in, and then he pulls out the grate that goes over the top, and then the bag itself becomes the lid. Now, what I'm trying to figure out, obviously, is that when it goes, you know, if we're talking about the fabric side of things, the materials, well, how does this work? I don't understand.
Magic. It's magic on there.
Don't understand.
But so what happens is actually the fabric's actually coated, silicone coated. fiberglass
Okay.
on there, and it actually can withstand temperatures up to 1,200 degrees Fahrenheit.
There it
648 for
is.
you guys in the rest of the
Heavy
world.
duty silicone coated fiberglass fabric. Yeah, but that is so. I grill on gas mostly in my backyard because I bought a big gas grill like 10 years ago and I'm still using it. But I love the flavor of charcoal. If I had one of these, I would pull it out in the backyard, 10 times as often, and then I would take it everywhere with me because it just travels so nicely, and you'd still get that fun grilling. So
you're not like Hank Hill where it goes Strickland propane, taste the meat, not the heat.
no, I prefer the charcoal. I absolutely love a good grill. Man, this is a fantastic idea. Just the idea that portable grills have always been based in metal, and that means bulky.
And then you gotta when you're transporting them after you're finished, you gotta wait for it to cool down. This actually cools down quicker than metal.
Yeah. The best part of this video is that if you watch it, they have this shot where a guy has an old style grill strapped to his back with duct tape. I don't know if you saw that in there, but it's like it's like all across here, across there, and then on his back is this like turtle shell of an old grill. Anyway, I love this. This is definitely back for me. They've already funded by about $5,000 over. 275 people have backed this. It's fixed funding. I believe it's good to go for another 2.5 weeks or so. But wow, I don't know for the backing of it. What are we talking about? $120? Does that sound right?
Yes, $120 if you want the base.
You get one GoBQ grill, and that's just for the portability. I think that alone is worth it. So for me, back.
Yeah, for me it's a back too. I wish I had this when I was going to school. I totally leave this in my car, and
yeah,
I wouldn't have to eat school foods on there. That's great. I mean, the price, I don't think it's that bad, especially considering how portable that you're getting it at, and I think it's perfectly fine. And it's cool on there. Cool. And setup is a breeze too, because I mean, even with a propane one, it takes longer than this to set up on there. So I love it. Quick in and out, and nice compact too, so I don't have to worry about strapping things into my tiny car on there. So, of course, when you're barbecuing, you have a lot of ingredients and everything, right? And then let me ask you, Drew, if this has been something that's happened to you before. You're like, all right, I'm gonna make this for dinner on there. Then you go to the fridge and you're like, I need 6 eggs, and there's only 1 in the fridge.
Yeah.
That,
way too often.
I mean, that happens. I think all of us have had this problem, and our next project hopes to solve this. It is called the Smart Q Sign, and it is actually a system to remotely monitor inventory in general.
Interesting.
So, their example is usually milk, eggs, and stuff on there. And what it is it's actually a system that uses a smartphone app, and then pairs with these little pads on there. And there's 2 different kinds of pads, and this is where the genius comes in, I think. They have a gold pad, which is kind of like your master pad that communicates with your phone. And then they have these silver pads, which are more like slave that communicate just with the gold pad. So you only need 1 gold pad, and you could have like 5 silver pads all communicating at once to that. And in the app, you'll see each individual pad on there. And so what it does is you hook it up, you put whatever you want that's full on there. So you put a full carton of milk on there, and then you can actually set notifications on your phone. So I love how they actually design the notifications. There's 3 different ways of doing notifications. You can do a time-based one. So say you're like, okay, I know I get out of the office at 5 on there. So maybe at 4:50, my phone's going to ring reminding me I need to go grab more milk when it detects that my milk levels are too low. Or, and I like this, say that, and this is actually great for, elderly people who don't go out of the house much. So say they're running low on food, on some supplies like eggs or something. You can set it so the application actually will email somebody else. So say it would email me saying, oh, grandma's out of eggs. I'm going to pick up some eggs on my way home and go drop them off for grandma so she has a full set of eggs on there. Or if you're fancy and you have a grocery guy, you could notify your grocery guy saying, hey, we're out of flour or something, and the grocery guy will bring it next time he makes a delivery. And then the last one is a geolocation one, where say you go to the store, it dings like, oh, I need to pick up some milk. So you don't forget when you're actually at the store, because that has happened too. Where I've
The
gone,
one thing you go for, you end
it's
up
like I gotta
without
go
it.
get more bread. I walk out with all this junk food. I get home, I didn't get the bread
Yes. Oh, why does this happen?
on there. And so each of these pads actually they don't have rechargeable bases or anything. They actually just use watch batteries, the CR2032 batteries. Those last about 6 months on there. And of course, following my favorite technology, you guys probably think it's my favorite technology. It has Bluetooth in there. That's how it communicates to your phone. On there. And I love this idea because I've seen different approaches to doing inventory. Like some of them are like, okay, you're gonna scan your UPC code and it's gonna be able to tell you there, or you have to put like specialty tags on them. This, you just gotta set it down and you're good to go. It doesn't have to just be eggs, milk, or anything. I think they do it on a weight-based system on there. So here's a picture of them where they're stacking cans on top of each other. So you take off one can, it can tell that there's only 50% left on there, and you can program it saying, hey, if there's 50% left, that means I only have one can left, so it should remind me to get more later on there. So I love this idea, and I love how they're actually trying to keep your costs down by having the gold pad and the silver pad on there, because if you had all gold pads, I think that would get very cost prohibitive on there. So what do you think about this way of managing things, Drew?
This one's tricky for me because I think overall I love the idea. I love this idea that you can keep track of things from afar. You can be aware of what's going on. It has merit. I guess my hardship is that I share my fridge with small children and they're always in and out of it. And so having everything in my fridge, or at least the things I want to monitor, my eggs, probably my milk.
Your secret candy supply that you have in there.
Yeah, I would. I totally watch this if something does. I think in my fridge it's just probably tough. I mean, the pad that they show the demo is the size of like a half-gallon milk jug. And I usually will often have a milk jug and a half, 2 full gallon milk jugs in my fridge. And so I don't know, a little bit farther down, they say if they get to their stretch goal of 150,000, they have a 4x4 pad, like, where you have 4 sections on the same pad. That, if it were a little larger, would make sense to me. I don't know. It's a track for me overall. I think the idea is wonderful. I'm still looking for something that's less one-off and more like built into the whole shelf of my fridge. And I know they can't do that. They're not manufacturing fridges. But for me, I think that's where I would go, something that was that way. Or even just a camera that's inside the fridge. So I'm at the store, I can turn on this infrared, see in the dark camera, and I can be like, let's see, I think that's milk. Yep, I got some, I'm good. I don't know. I like the idea. I just feel like it's too singular right now for me.
I just thought of a great use case for you, because I know you check out cameras for your students to go film on there. Have all these on there so you know which camera's actually checked out on there just by that.
So that I just have to look at my app, and every one of the cameras it's not sitting on its pad. It must be gone.
Yeah. See?
Something. That's something.
I mean, it has things. For me, it is a track too, just because I love it. The price point's not that bad, to be honest with you, on there.
That's true. For 1 gold pad and 3 silvers, they're $110 plus the shipping, so $130. That is not bad for measuring 4 things. And I think that's where I was getting hung up, is I like to know how much I could really measure out.
Yeah. So for me, it's a track just because I don't have a lot of consumables on there. I've trained myself enough to know not to buy a lot of stuff, considering there's only 2 of us in my whole entire house on there, although we have Costco memberships. And
big items come through the door.
Yes, on there. But on there, I love the idea. I love the implementation. What actually, and they're actually starting to solve this, is because this uses Bluetooth right there. So if your phone is not within Bluetooth range of the gold pad to get constant updates, that may be a little bit of a problem on there.
Would it send it any other way? Because obviously you're going to check this when you're at the store. You're going to check it somewhere else, and I want to get an up to date, like where it's at.
So So they're developing a hybrid Bluetooth/Wi-Fi hub on there, but I've seen so many solutions for that where I'm going to have like 800 Bluetooth Wi-Fi hubs in my house on there. And that's the only thing that's slightly drawing me back on there, but I still think it's a great idea, especially if you have a lot of consumables. You know, you have a lot of kids, or you bake a lot, you cook a lot, you know, or you tools or not tools, like, you know, screws and stuff, things that you will be parting out a lot. I think this will be a great thing on there. So it is a track for me, and if they get close, I may end up getting a set, you know, on there, and then I'll know when somebody's rating my candy stash.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just think about it, Drew, because I know you hide
My
your candy.
candy.
Just put it in your drawer so you know when you need to restock, and you know when your students are stealing your candy.
That's good. That's a good idea. Sometimes I walk in my office and the door will it has auto lights, but I'll come in first thing in the morning and my lights are already on, and I just go, wait a minute, who's eating my candy?
See, on there. So, and so that is the smart Q sign, and of course, our last thing is our sack of the week.
Sack of the week.
And this
is so much fun to find.
This one is a winner, because I will tell you straight off, when I read it, because he didn't have a video, of course, on there, I had no idea what he was trying to fund with $150,000.
This one is gold. And honestly, I think the reason why we came up with our sack of the week is because we hate to say that we'd sack something, because everybody here is throwing themselves out in the world. The ones that we do find are ones that we think just haven't done any sort of diligence to figure out what they're supposed to do. So take a look at this one. This one is really...
Tell me if you can figure out what this is, just by the project title. On the Origin of Civilizations.
This is a good-looking guy. I'll give you that. It's a good-looking guy.
So this guy is looking for $150,000, and after parsing his text that he put on here, I think it's a movie.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where that was. You know where the only place that I found that was like confirmed was where pledge $1 or more. This is one tier.
One tier.
You get a copy of the movie if you pledge $1
on there. And like the about the project section, he just starts rambling.
Can I read this?
Yes, go ahead.
I was born in Finland, and I wondered why Finnish Oristential flag still uses swastika, as do Indians in Buddhism and Brahmanism and Hinduism. Also, why Finnish language only related to some people above Arctic circles in Estonia and across the Baltic Sea. Studied history for 10 years, found out about an island continent 42,000 years ago in the north, uniting North Pole and Scandinavia, but not Russia. It was warm but dark, and Aryans very white. Like, it just keeps like...
Yeah, it just keeps going, and you're like, what?
The bottom's awesome. Like, he talks about the first flood, which became Gilgamesh, and Noah's flood, and priest Terah escaped to Ur, son named after Brahma, Abraham, wife Sarah. Like, this is the stuff that I would expect on somebody that was like keyword stuffing, right? Or doing some horrible SEO thing. But no, it just goes and goes.
This is what gets me, is because he says, I have 20 years experience as CEO of multi-billion companies, 10 years as board member of startups, vast network of celebrities, including Bill Murray and Joe Montana, contact with many studios, and done 2 short movies on YouTube, plus lots of commercials.
And that's his risks and challenges.
That's his risks and challenges. I don't know how that is a risk or a challenge on there, and
so I gotta put this out there, because I feel like perhaps this man really did have a very successful run, and maybe he's got Alzheimer's, and somebody led him too near to the Kickstarter, and he launched something, right? Because honestly, it's like, oh, where are you? So maybe there's some sort of mental issue going on here. But in the way of sack of the week, it's a fun read.
Yeah. So like, I have to say, there's two-prong approach on this that's wrong. One, the Kickstarter project itself is just not even close to being what it needs to be on there.
What?
And on the other side, you know, I have not produced a full featured film for myself, but it does not seem like on a production side he's organized either. On there, you know, it's like, what is his actual story with, you know, unless we're gonna get an 8-hour epic on the history of civilizations.
It says, I checked, I didn't realize he had an update, but he says on his update, on my website, The Willens, Tom, you will find Finnish women and spirituality movies I made years ago, inspiring me to do full-length movie for History Channel and Discovery Channel. So, apparently on there, you'll find spirituality.
Well, and then this is the other thing. When the website he links to is like his family websites. So it's just like...
again, like almost something that was made just for this. But if you read through his bio under his page, he worked for Jim Beam Worldwide. So maybe that explains it.
Yeah,
it was just he's on a bender.
All right, so yeah, and then this is his
out of the world's
Finland Women in Power
as the best place to live. In essence, the latest paradise on Earth.
This is what he's claiming that he's created.
The same conclusion. In a 2010
There's no actors in this.
Showed a correlation
it's a straight animation.
Poverty,
yeah.
Where Finland and all its neighbors showed up as the least religious countries and in the top for income per capita.
It's been up for 3 years and 370 people
Finland,
love it.
Which receives a tiny amount in comparison to that of public schools in Finland, always shows up near the. It could also show that issues like East control of Europe between Sweden and the West.
I don't even know what this video is talking about.
And
Finland Women in Power. I don't know. Oh, you went to Finland Women in Power. I went to Spirituality, where it's spelled different on his page. Well, I guess it's foreign. I can't fault him for the spelling. How many views did yours get?
I don't even know. I gotta open it again to see.
Finnish women.
598 views, no comments, and from 2012.
Well, if he's producing videos with no actors, he's got something. I need to figure this out. How does he do this?
Yes.
Anyway,
magic.
yes, that was we found several of these. There are a few others out there that we found. Their Sacks of the Week. If you come across them, let us know. But that was our entertainment for the night.
Yes. So if you do have Sacks of the Weeks, or if you have good projects that you want us to discuss, please send us an email at kickcast@ktdata.net. Or leave us a message on our Facebook page, facebook.com/KickCast. Even if you don't want to leave a message, go like our page, because we are 11 short from 100, and I would love to get to a nice even 100 likes on our page. So go give it a like on there. Or you can just go find us on Twitter at KickCast for the show, or at Night20 for that beautiful, beautiful man there. You'll see him in his awesome fedora. Or me at Ktdata for some insane reason, if you would like to follow me on there.
And you can.
Yeah, you can, because it's the internet on there. You can also find us on Google+, plus.kickcast.net. And always, I encourage you to come watch us live, because live is awesome, and there's stuff that doesn't get recorded, and shenanigans and craziness that happens all the time.
As soon as we hang this up, I'm going to start talking about the cleanest, my favorite project of the whole week. But we were keeping it family friendly, so I left it up.
Yes, on there. And of course, if you want to watch live, our next episode is going to be April 28th, 2015, and you can find us at live.kickcast.net on there. I'm going to plug something for Drew other than his adorable dog. Aww. If you guys watch the Little Big Cast, make sure you guys tune in for episode 50. They're planning big and great things.
50 is huge. I can't believe we made this far, but we're going to have a great show this Saturday. We're hoping at 3 o'clock Mountain. We'll be live on twitch.tv/littlebigcast.
It's going to be fancy on there. To give you guys more incentive, if we get 100 likes, I'm going to start giving away stuff like a copy of Secret Identity, the Andrew Allen Jazz album, for Marvel and DC. And hopefully by that time, Marcus Rocco's book, To the Moon, will be here, and I will have a couple copies to give away. So that will always be great too.
We need those likes. Let's make it happen.
Yes. So thank you everybody for watching, consuming, listening, however you intake the show. Thank you so much. Thank you, not quite yet, Master Drew Tyler.
Master Drew? I'll take Master Drew.
Thank you, Master Drew, for coming and doing the show. I honestly have a blast, and I never know where our time goes.
So fast.
Somebody give that man $1 million. And hopefully by then, Drew will have taken over the world. So we will see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.